Department 6, Sonoma County Superior Court is now in session. The Honorable Troy Schaefer presiding. Please be seated and come to order.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Ms. Chapman?
Good morning, Your Court is called on 5 for Cedar Salagon.
Oh, Rosita Saigon.
Amy Chapman, hearing 977 from Ms. Salagon.
Matter comes on today for disposition or setting up a trial date.
Yes, Your Honor, the people were able to reach out to the victim just yesterday. I got a new offer yesterday afternoon of a 415 that I believe will resolve it. I just need to track down Ms. Salagon to convey that to her. When we do resolve it, does the court want a toll waiver or any type of plea in absentia, or can I issue a plea on her behalf?
If it's a 415, I don't need a toll form, but I do need a plea and abstention.
Okay.
So time
Give
is
me a
waiting.
date, I'll come back with that. Time continues to be waived, yes.
So Ms. Chapman, in order to make sure you have time to talk with your client as well as pay the paperwork, I'm looking at Thursday, June 10th.
That would be fine, Your Honor.
Okay. Matter will be on June 10th, 8:30 in this department for change of plea.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anything further for you this morning?
Not in here, thank you.
Mr. Applegate, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm here by Zoom on behalf of Ellen.
Okay, let's quickly get back to you involved. Mr. Applegate, if you can, you have Mr. Zarro.
Yes, Your Honor.
And defendant is joining me as well, Your Honor.
Mr. Zarro is on, and we have submitted executed warrants.
Mr. Applegate, the court doesn't have toll forms in the file. Did you send them to the court or to the people?
I sent them to they said that
Okay, so Mr. Applegate, I'm gonna ask that you stand by. We gotta get IT involved. I'm dropping every couple of words. I don't have the toll form, so if you and your client can stand by, we'll figure out where the toll forms are and also try to get our audio fixed. So I'll be back with you as soon as we get some guidance from IT.
I have it in another court.
Well, I think what I heard was that you have to go to another courtroom. So why don't you go ahead and drop off and go to that courtroom and come back. It's gonna be a while before we get this Zoom audio fixed again. Mr. McCauley, hold on, Mr. McCauley, because you're not on Zoom. The court just got a chat message from Mr. Applegate asking if we could just reset one week.
Your Honor, that's fine, and I don't know if Mr. Applegate, he can email me if he wants me to print the forms, get them to the court. We can help out however is best to give this matter.
All right, so time continues to be waived, Mr. Applegate.
Yes.
Mr. Applegate, 1 week, it'll be Thursday, May 20th, 8:30 in this department for change of plea, and we'll track down the forms.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I did email those to Mr. McCauley on May 2nd.
Again, we really can't hear you, Mr. Applegate. Madam Clerk, can you take a minute to IT line?
I just sent them an email, but I'll give them a call just to verify that they're gonna come up and deal with it. Right, exactly. On Tuesday, we were just having like that deep voice issue wasn't really cutting out. They were scheduled to come in on next Tuesday afternoon at the start of briefing so that we could kind of get it worked out, but it's escalating. So.
Yeah, I tried to call the law motion, that's the disaster.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Do you want them to come up this morning to deal with it?
Maybe I'll do it on the calendar and I can test it from. It needs to be resolved before 30.
Yeah, that works. Okay.
Other matters are ready.
Yes, Your Honor. Will the court start with the Stone matter? The president coming forward. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Stone.
Mr. Gadsden, hold it right.
Calling Anthony Stone. Mr. Stone, you failed to appear today's date. Mr. McCauley, are the people filing a complaint?
Yes, we're waiting on toxicology results, so we're asking to go out about 6 months.
So, Mr. Stone, I'm going to exonerate your bond. We'll release your bond money. The people have not yet completed their investigation, have not yet decided whether or not to file charges. I can just discharge this with no future court dates. However, if the people do choose to file a complaint, they can seek a warrant for your arrest and have you rearrested. Or I can give you a future court date about 6 months out to see and give an update regarding what people have decided. Would you
Can I
like
get a future court date?
So 6 months is a Monday, November 15th, 8:30, this department for filing of a complaint. And again, the bond is exonerated, so we'll get you some minute sheets showing that. Anything further for this individual?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Sir, in just 1 second.
Mr. Scott, Mr. President.
Calling Green, Stutler, Calhoun. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Board of Elections requesting appointment on the new case. I believe that's case ending 080.
Starting on clerk with case 080.
Yes.
You were cited to appear on that matter today's date. A misdemeanor complaint has been filed alleging a violation of Penal Code Section 148 for an A for 1 delay in resisting or obstructing a peace officer. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to assist you in that matter.
Thank you. All of them for making a complaint, waiving for review and filing rights. Enter a plea of not guilty to that charge. Given the status of his other cases, I would be asking to declare doubt in the new matter as well. Mr. Stotler Calhoun was one of the folks who I believe was participating in the outpatient program. And then when that program shut down, that was around the time that we lost communication with Mr. Stotler Calhoun. He came into our office yesterday. We got his new contact information. I want to be able to speak with him about the situation, about these cases, but that's the report.
Just need a moment of time to catch up with the file. Court. Sees that he may fail to appear today. hasn't seen Mr. Taylor Calhoun. These cases probably just close to, we've passed a year. And the last report received from the outpatient program, I believe, is dated August 12th of 2020, indicating Mr. Statler Calhoun is not likely to be restored to competency because he's refusing to take meds and using methamphetamine. Mr. McCauley, what is the people's position or request regarding these cases at this time?
Your Honor, I don't know if there's any sort of inpatient restoration process happening right now, because I do see notes that the outpatient restoration, as the court referenced, was unsuccessful.
Your Honor, to be clear, I don't believe the outpatient restoration was unsuccessful. I think, as we all know, that program doesn't exist anymore.
Correct, I agree. It's since closed down. The last time, Mr. Statler, the last report I got from them was when they were open. In their opinion, he's not likely to be restored to competency. Quote, while meeting with this individual on March 6, 2020, this writer suspected recent use of methamphetamine and requested a urine sample. However, he refused to provide a sample for chemical testing. Mr. Statler Calhoun also refuses to take medication, one time stating he doesn't need any and adding that, quote, they steal my personality and makes me boring. So his out of custody, when it was open, it was unsuccessful. There is no out of custody restoration program. So at this time, based on him being absent from the court's jurisdiction also for a year, the court is going to remand Mr. Statler Calhoun at this time.
Your Honor,
I just got hired, sorry.
He's remanded.
so, Your Honor, during that year, I believe there were several court dates where there was a notice issued and the court was noticed in several times. So he wouldn't have known about those court dates. We did try to get in touch with him, however, due to the COVID situation and some stability issues in his life, his contact information had changed. He is making efforts. He came to the public defender's office yesterday to meet with me. I spoke with him. He does want to take care of these cases. I do note that we do have somewhat of an issue with the 1368, 1370 process here, given the outpatient program no longer exists. My request, and as Mr. Statler Calhoun had stated, he did recently get hired at Target. I believe his first day is tomorrow. I think that would give him more stability in his life. I'm hoping the court would release Mr. Statler Calhoun, and then we can come back in short order, give me an opportunity to speak with him, and then perhaps we'll be in a better situation to, number one, know whether or not he'll continue and be able to follow through with his obligations to the court, and perhaps we can address custody at that point. I hope that the court will give us just a little bit of time to work out some of those issues.
Your Honor, that was a year ago, over a year ago, that I didn't take the drug test. And, well, I just want to say that was a very long time ago. I'm doing much better.
Mr. Statler Calhoun, I certainly hope that you are doing a lot better. This information is a little bit outdated for various reasons. That
Yes.
you are currently in a suspended status.
Suspended what?
It's okay, so clerk in 220948 and 119, the bonds are exonerated.
Thank you.
In light of the remand.
Right. But, I mean, I really need that job.
in case
Incompetent. I don't see why it was declared incompetent in the first place.
8080, the court is expressing a doubt on its own based on the review of the other three matters that are already in a suspended status. Mr. Hoskins, this leaves me, the court's not going to change my position regarding his custodial status, but this leaves me with a position, given the new filing, the new complaint, the court is thinking about sending us for a new and updated evaluation as to his current status, as opposed to sending a placement report, which is simply going to tell me we don't have options for individuals in this status out of custody.
Your Honor, can the court pass the case just momentarily?
Absolutely. Give you some time to talk with your colleague. We'll pass that. Ms. Steele.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Number 29 on the calendar, Frank Walden.
Sir?
You're calling for resetting.
I'm calling Frank Walter. Ms. Steele. This matter's on for disposition.
Your time continues to be waived as soon as you consider.
The time waiver of this matter will be set with trial. Court is looking at July 1st.
That's fine.
Will that work for the people's witnesses?
Believe so, Your Honor.
All right, July 1st, 10:30 for jury trial. Readiness conference, June 29th, 10:30. Anything further for this client?
Not for this matter, no, I have another case on Mr. Woodard, number 30 on the calendar.
Calling Brett Ritters.
Okay, 977, time continues to be waived as soon as you consider as well. These cases are rather old, obviously.
Yeah, I'm just looking because they were set for trial just last month, and I was. Same date, the court's looking at July 1st.
Thank you.
That work for the people's witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor.
July 1st, 10:30 for jury trial, June 29th, 10:30 for readiness.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got a couple more attorneys in the room on Zoom. All IT guys here. So do you want me to let one of the attorneys in? We can see what it's doing and what David does think. Okay.
Mr. Fuentes, good morning. Mr. Fuentes, which client do you have?
Yes, I'm here on the records function here on this.
Miss. Calling Ricardo Santos Fernandez. These matters are on for the appearance of your client and disposition.
Excellent.
I'm sorry, would you mind just go ahead and talk. We're kind of testing the audio on our IT right now.
Of course, Your Honor. Hello?
Okay, that's much better.
Okay.
All right.
There was a bench warrant held to today's date. I have not been able to reach the client, Your Honor.
So given your client's continued failure to appear, the bonds will all be forfeited. Bail's forfeited in these cases. The $0 site only warrants will issue at this time. Except in 499 on clerk, that's a $10,000 warrant given the charge. So 499, 10,000, the other matter $0 site only.
Thank you.
Mr. Fuentes, as soon as we find your client, we'll get back on track.
And Your Honor, if I could ask that those be, if I could put them out of back in calendar, if my client does reach me.
Absolutely. If you reach your client, feel free to calendar it for walkthrough clear warrant.
Fantastic. Thank you, Your Honor.
Great, thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Okay.
Mr. Dahl, good morning.
Good morning, Judge. I'm here on the Melissa Stevenson matter.
Calling Melissa Stevenson.
And good morning, Sam Dahl. I am appearing 977. I had an appointment last week with Ms. Stevenson, but we needed to cancel that due to her being exposed to COVID. Currently, she has an offer of PC 1000, but she's been speaking to Turning Point, and she does want to do residential treatment. So essentially, we're waiting for her to have her intake therapy.
Do you know when that's scheduled?
It was scheduled for but she needed to postpone it due to being exposed.
So time continues to be waived?
Yes.
Any objection by the people to putting this over about 45 days for status?
No, Your Honor.
All right, now it'll go over. Mr. Dahl, the court's looking at Thursday, July 1st.
That'd be fine.
Thursday, July 1st, 8 a.m. in this department for disposition.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Ballantyne.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm here on Sean Sober. Mr. Sober is present. He's in the back of the courtroom.
Mr. Sober, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Go ahead and stand up, sir.
So, Your Honor, Mr. Sober has been DUI for it and has been trying to be sentenced there. And it seems like there's one problem or another. Last Tuesday, they were there expecting to be sentenced. And they said that, the judge said there was some outstanding probation violation that needed to be cleared up first. I don't see the probation case counted here this morning. And I have the number the court wants. But I'm curious as to what the file shows, because I know when we pled in this courtroom, Your Honor was not here, Judge Benke was here, and I thought the Pell waiver referenced the fact that we took care of this several weeks ago, but I could be mistaken. I thought I had referenced the probation case in the Tall waiver. In any event, we've been sent back here, and he's back on in DUI for next Tuesday. We were supposed to clear up whatever the problem is.
So unfortunately, the only thing that got sent back here is the case that is not the problem. So I can't assist the parties until the parties put the other case on calendar so I can have them to take action on. So
Then the court can't call it up this morning.
I cannot. So if the parties, if that's the holdup, either party can calendar it. I can just take this with a continued time waiver, put it over to next week. I don't know what the parties are requesting. This file is not the issue.
I don't know why they didn't do that. I don't know what to suggest. I mean, we're on calendar for Tuesday in DUI court again. And it sounds like, I don't know what to do, Your Honor. I looked on the portal for the other case, and it didn't show that anything had happened in the other case. And I don't know if a probation violation has even been filed by the district attorney.
I don't see another court date for this case, Your Honor, just today.
Yeah, that court did not put you on calendar next week. This is the only date this file has.
Oh, so nothing's been calendared yet? I'm sorry, for the following week.
Right, nothing's calendared for next week.
What would the court like me to do? I'm not, I can have someone from my office here next week, but I'm not here next week. I can give the court the case number.
I have it from the top form, and I see the case number referred to in the tall form is SCR 6766198, which I'm looking at. That case has not been on calendar before court since 2017.
That's what I saw in the portal as well, so.
So there's nothing to, I think maybe the tall form indicating that this and that case were referred over there for probation violation. It's the tall form that's telling the court it's supposed to be doing something, not actually the reality of the file. So at this time, what we'll do is put on the minutes. Well, before we write anything in, Mr. McCauley, the DA's office hasn't taken any action to violate that probation grant.
Your Honor, I do hesitate to comment just because it's a VDUI case, and Mr. Rifkin has notes that there was an open plea, so the VOP was going to be sentenced through judge's discretion. So I don't know if that changes the circumstance of the VOP that we filed.
That's actually not on the call list through the judge's discretion, but anyway.
All right, so what I'll do is we'll process, we'll wait for VDUI because they apparently need to be present to tell me what their intention was. The court didn't find him in violation. The court has taken no action on the violation. The DA's office never put it before court, so I don't know why the court's being told that the special prosecutor thinks he's somehow been found guilty because the court has done none of those things. So we'll wait for Mr. Rifkin. Go ahead and have a seat, Mr. Silver. Mr. Johnson, I'm going to ask for your patience while we get, I would like to know how that prosecutor thinks the court is in a position to take action. Mr. Hopkins, our interested case.
So our request would be to just put him on replacement. I think that would be the quickest way to get moving with this case. I wouldn't want him referred to see a doctor and then put on replacement, and we'd be back up about 6 weeks. So I would request to put him on replacement as quickly as the court can.
Your Honor,
the other request that I had, I didn't hear if the court had sent bail. I would ask the court to send bail.
Okay, so in case
that job is very important to me, Your Honor. I start tomorrow as a target at Cottingtown. Just got hired. Means a lot to me. Whatever you need, I can do it for you.
Mr.
I can't be locked up.
Mr. Calhoun, thank you for your comments. I appreciate you trying to tell me your circumstances. I actually do think you're doing a lot better than what I've seen you in the past. But I need a report. So what I'm going to do is, in these cases, in 080, criminal proceedings are suspended. Bail in that case is set in the amount of $10,000. In the remaining 3 matters, bail is set in the amount of $30,000. The court is going to refer it to to Sonoma County Behavioral Health for an updated placement report regarding his current restorability. So we'll get that report. It usually takes about 3 weeks. Now, Mr. Statler Kaufman, it's possible that you make bail and you get out, in which case I need you to check in with your attorney so they can make sure that the person who needs to interview you does interview you. And I'll have the report due June 4th.
Could you lower that, Your Honor? It's very expensive. I'm losing a lot of money.
So I'll have the report due, excuse me, I'll have it due June 3rd and I'll have you in court June 4th. Those will be the orders at this time.
Can you lower the bail, Your Honor?
Mr. Calhoun, that concludes this matter this morning. Thank you. Mr. Randall?
Yeah, we have Shamir.
Mr. Randall, are you ready on your? Yes, calling Tab Samir. Mr. Samir, good morning. So, Mr. Ed, you might be a little bit of seeing given the distance your client's laying down. Mr. Samir, can you hear the court?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Alicia Duran for Mr. Samir, who is present in custody via Zoom, Your Honor. Your Honor, Mr. D.A. Huffman and I have been working on a resolution. I did talk to Mr. Samir yesterday about that. I believe we've come to an agreement which would require a call form. We're looking at next Wednesday as that, I believe that would be just over his 2-week marker. And it would be for 30 days, so I think that would be an important day for us to be back before the court so I can do call forms with him in spot. Time continues to.
All right, so Mr. Samir, I'm gonna put your matter over to next week, Wednesday, May 19th, 8:30, this department for change of plea. We'll see you then, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Thank you. Counsel, good morning.
Hi, good morning. I'm appearing on Kathleen Sorensen, Gail Schiffman on behalf of Ms. Sorensen. I'm appearing via a 977. I can give the clerk my business card. Thank you. Your Honor, I just got retained in this matter, and I actually have not seen a copy of the complaint yet. Your Honor, given the fact that I just got retained and I have some questions about whether perhaps it would be appropriate to file a demur. I'm not committing to that, but I need some time to kind of determine that. I think it might make sense to continue the arraignment. Let me see whether or not I'll do that. If so, I would do it in writing. Give notice to the DA in court, of course. If that makes sense and will work for the court, I would ask that I be allowed to come back on, would Thursday, the 27th be acceptable?
That will work for the court.
That's fine for the people.
All right, so no plea being entered. We'll put this matter over for entry of plea and arraignment on May 27th, 8:30, this department.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Robinson, you're calling your case, Mr. Silver. Mr. Silver, good morning again.
Jason Griffin for the people.
So, Mr. Griffin, this case 082 went down to DUI court for sentencing. And because the tall form referenced a BOP, case 676-198, that court didn't have it before it and sent everything back here to clear it up. And looking at it this morning, that case referenced in the tall form has not been brought to the court since 2017.
I can have it added on for a future date. There was an admission to the violation of probation at the.
That's the part that I'm unclear about, because I remember the admission as well, but if the portal showing that the file was there, I'm not sure how we did that. But I do recall that happened.
I thought it was on the calendar on April 8th. Do we want to set another date? I'll ask that we have it on.
That would be helpful because either those are electronic, maybe it's in the paper file and it didn't make it to the electronic file, but because it's not in front of me, I can't see it. But let's pick a date that works for both parties and gives Mr. Lipton enough time to put that matter on the calendar. Will it work? Will a 1 week turnaround work for the parties?
It could be, I can't be here, I can do the following week, I'm on next week, but I could have someone from the office come if we need to put it on next week.
I'm fine with waiting until he's back.
Well, Mr. Silver, you're here today and kind of want to get this resolved as well. So how does Monday, May 24th look for everybody?
I'm not quite back yet, can we have the 26th?
Actually, you're going to have to go to the 27th.
That's fine with the people.
27th is fine.
Mr. Silver?
Yeah, does this delay my enrollment in DUI court then? We got to keep going.
We're not gonna do that.
Yeah, my enrollment, yeah.
I think there was some confusion with the visiting judge at the day he entered the plea. I believe the DOP has to be handled first and not handled in the DUI court, so. I think
Well, then in 2 weeks, I will do whatever we need to do. If the case is in front of me, we'll get that cleaned up and then just send one file down clean to DUI court.
That's fine.
So 2 weeks.
27th then.
All right. May 27th, 8:30. This matter time is waived for sentencing. This one will be on for sentencing or re-referral to DUI court. I'll need the DA's office to put the other matter on, and it might be that I can clean up and take the admission or make a finding on the admission, sentence immediately on the BOP.
I guess we'll see what's in the file.
Only the DUI down.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
All right, thank you, sir. Calling Mark Struthers. Good morning.
Asking you to be appointed on the new matter, Your Honor.
Struthers in custody, a case ending 008, a misdemeanor complaint has been filed alleging a violation of Penal Code Section 647 for an act of public intoxication. Given that it's a misdemeanor, I'll appoint the public defender's office to assist you with that case.
Thank you, Your Honor. Frank Anthony, law, public defender. I acknowledge you have misdemeanor complaints, that it be a proper arraignment with the liberty and advisement of rights. And we've actually reached a resolution in all of Mr. Struthers' matters. So when the court is ready, we can detail that. In case ending 993-1, we'd be admitting the 3 open violations of probation. It'd be for a total of 30 days of county jail to be served forthwith. The jail to calculate credits, reinstate that probation. Case ending 008-1 is going to be dismissed.
Is that good, Mr. McCauley?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Struthers, have you had sufficient time to discuss your case and your circumstances with your attorney?
Absolutely.
Do you have any questions before we go forward? All right, so sir, my understanding is you're prepared to enter an admission that you're for a violation of court orders in your probation case. The consequence would be 30 days in a county jail forthwith. The jail will calculate credits, and then we'll place you back on probation in that case. As a result, the other matter will be dismissed outright. Is that your expectation as well?
Yes.
All right, so sir, in case ending 993, you do have a right to have a hearing on violation of probation. At that hearing, the people have to prove by preponderance of the evidence, meaning more likely than not that you were in violation of one of the court orders. At that hearing, you can confront and cross-examine witnesses, meaning you would see and hear the witnesses called, and your attorney would ask questions of any witnesses. You would have a right to testify at that hearing, present evidence on your own behalf, and use the supreme power of this court and will cost you to compel witnesses or other evidence to appear. So you do have a right to remain silent without any inference of guilt, and you have a right to have your attorney present through all stages of the proceedings. With these rights in mind, do you have any questions? Do you waive your rights to have a hearing in this case?
Yes.
Counsel, do you join in that waiver?
Yes.
And sir, so do you admit you're in violation of probation in that you used to possess alcohol and you failed to be a good conduct and obey all laws?
Yes.
Court will accept the admission and then find you in violation of probation. Waive time for sentencing?
So I know the cost.
So, sir, in this case, 993, probation is revoked and reinstated under all the same terms and conditions with the following modification. I will sentence you to serve 30 days in the county jail forthwith. The jail will calculate any credits you may have earned. That should conclude that case. In 008, do you vote to dismiss?
Yes, Your Honor.
That case is now dismissed outright, so no future court dates. As soon as you're done with the time, you'll be released and will be back on probation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I believe there is a, is she still with you? Your Honor, can we call the Stegner case?
You want us to open up that waiting?
Please.
Oh,
good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. Give us just one moment, calling.
Okay.
Brandon Stegner.
I don't call it from people. Or possible. Your Honor, I believe that the victim, Ms. Stegner, wants to request to vacate the CPO in this case. People are taking no position either way on that, and we'll just leave it to the victim.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Stegner, thank you for joining us this morning.
Yes, thank you.
Let me just take a look at the file briefly.
Okay.
It appears to me that currently the court has a criminal protective order in this file, which mandates that Mr. Stegner have peaceful contact with you. The DA's office informs me that you have a request of the court to drop the order entirely.
Yes, please.
So ma'am, this order of protection is in place for your protection, so I just have a couple of questions.
Yes, go ahead, ask your question.
Okay.
And then
it's a peaceful contact order, so it's not a complete no contact order. So peaceful contact, really, we're just trying to make sure that you're safe and that the person isn't pestering, harming, striking, harassing, et cetera, a bunch of things.
Yes.
What is the reason for dropping a peaceful order?
First, foremost, it's just not necessary. Brandon's not certain. It's hindering us moving forward, if that. I've done a lot from that situation back when this all started. It's just unnecessary. I don't think any protective order, it's not necessary.
Okay, all right, ma'am. Thank you. Give me one minute. Are you and Mr. Stegner currently living together?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Sorry, my allergies.
It's okay, no worry.
Makes everybody very nervous. Okay, so. Mr. Hoskins, obviously you're caring for your client and this would alleviate a condition, so I'm not too worried. The court does note that this is a concluded case and really that's CPO's portion of a probation grant. And Mr. McCauley did state their office is not taking a position. So any objection to me alleviating the criminal protective order?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so ma'am, again, thank you for coming in and explaining your situation and giving your statements and representations. I will vacate the criminal protective order at this
Thank you.
point, so that criminal protective order will be lifted. Mr. Hoskins, Mr. Stegner's still on probation, so he'll need to abide by all the terms.
Of course.
Okay, thank you. Actually, bond is still posted. So we want to exonerate. I'm going to exonerate this bond as well. It just seems to be an oversight. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Is my or something?
You know what? We're having some audio problems again. Can you repeat yourself?
Oh, paperwork where now can I have some snail meat?
So ma'am, I'm going to have you call the DA's office and ask
Okay.
your questions, okay? We're having some problems here in court.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Other matters that are ready?
Thank you, Your Honor. We have a transfer matter, the Vicensio matter. Would the court be willing to call that?
Yes.
Thank you. Chief President coming forward.
Oh, Margarita Vicensio. Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you, Your Honor. I asked the court to call this matter as a friend of the court. Ms. Vicensio does not qualify for the public defender's office. She's going to need some time to hire private counsel. We did have that discussion today. My request is that the court give her 2 to 3 weeks so that she can accomplish that and come back for arraignment.
Do the people wish to be heard?
Your Honor, does the court show any OR conditions for this Vicencio? She's already had a first appearance, I take it, in another courtroom.
Well, so given the transfer, we're all kind of playing catch up in Vicencio. So in case 044, she was arraigned on that case back in July of 2020. Public Defender's Office was appointed and later was determined she didn't qualify. And from then, it's been on for seeking private counsel. There's been some health screening and other issues. So you got a little off track, not your fault, just the situation we're all finding ourselves in. But there are no OR conditions. In case 921, it was an on view. She was in custody in April. No complaint was filed at that time. It's on today for complaint, and there is a complaint. So in that case, it's a first appearance, again, no conditions.
Your Honor, the people would request PTR level 2 in this matter, just based on the 2 outstanding DUI matters. And terms for no alcohol, submit to chemical testing.
So Ms. Vicencio, you're here and on your own and unrepresented.
As a friend of the court, I can help a bit. My request would be that the court place OR conditions on at the moment. Do not use or possess alcohol, do not consume alcohol, do not have any alcohol in your system while driving, and submit to chemical testing if the subject of a DUI investigation. With any argument relating to that reserved for counsel to address that arraignment.
So any action the court takes today absolutely will be reserved for when you have an advocate. Despite our friend of the court, I really appreciate his input as well, but any action the court does take today will be addressed immediately as soon as you find an attorney. So at this time though, the court does have 2 open DUIs, and the court is concerned with the current new filing being an injury level DUI, while one was already open and pending. So I do want this person supervised. So then I'm going to place you on pretrial supervision. It'll have to be level 3 because I want the chemical testing component. So at this time, we're going to leave you out of custody again. As soon as your attorney comes in, we can readdress this, okay? When you have somebody who is present and able to fully speak for you and knows more than you. But at this time, Madam Clerk, in both cases, level 3, pretrial supervision. Ma'am, you do need to appear at all times and places as ordered by the courts. You need to make the court appearances. Of course, if your attorney does that on your behalf, that's fine as well. You need to obey all conditions of this pretrial grant. You cannot leave the state without court approval. And if you do leave the state by being on pretrial, you're waiving extradition, which means the judge in the other state won't see you and decide whether or not you're coming back. By my order, you're brought back immediately. So, ma'am, your order, do not possess or use any alcohol. Submit to random chemical testing as directed by pretrial services. Submit to warrantless search and seizure of your person, property, personal effects, or vehicle any time of the day or night by any probation or law enforcement officer at your residence any time of the day or reasonable hour of the night. Do not drive under the influence of any alcohol or any other substance. Do not be in places where alcohol is the primary item of sale. Do not drive without a valid license or insurance in effect. You have further order to be in good conduct and obey all laws. Then I'll need you to inform your pretrial services officer as to your current residence, employment, and contact telephone numbers, and report to pretrial services as directed. The way you'll get that started is we're going to give you this paperwork. You're going to go down, and as you're leaving today, over at the main jail, if you go into the lobby, there's a phone there for pretrial services because they're still not doing in-person interviews. Just pick up the phone, let them know that you were just placed on pretrial services. Give them the case numbers, which will be on your paperwork, and then they'll talk you through how to get started with their services. With that, you have been looking and seeking private counsel for a period of time, and I recall you coming in by Zoom indicating because of the health issues, you really got set back in that endeavor. So it's good to see you here in person and healthier, but I need you to focus on getting that attorney. You need somebody to be helping you, okay? So what I'm gonna do is put it over 3 weeks. So I'll put it on, then I'm gonna put it on Thursday, June 3rd, 8:30 in this department. It'll be on for arraignment, appearance of counsel, and bail work. So I remember we need to readdress this, okay? We'll get you some paperwork here shortly, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. Otherwise, I just need a minute on that.
Yeah, okay.
Ready to go.
Good morning, Your Honor. I have line 32, and I believe Ms. Nicole Wright is in the waiting room on Zoom.
I'll let her in right now.
Great, thank you so much.
Calling Nicole Wright.
Ms. Wright, if you could turn on your video and audio, that would be great. If not, we'll just continue to call the case. This is Ms. Wright's first time on Zoom, and so she might be having a little bit of technical difficulties, but I did have an opportunity to speak to my client this morning before we called the case.
Okay, so Ms. Wright, if you're able to put your video on and open up your audio. Okay, we've got you on video. Ms. Weiss is here on your behalf. This matter comes on for disposition. Ms. Weiss?
Thank you, Your Honor. At this point, Ms. Wright is working out of county. She is an IHSS care provider, and I've just forwarded some information about that to Mr. McCauley. Because this is a domestic violence case, the offer, I believe, is 1203.097. Perhaps I could clarify what the offer is, because I do not have it in the file at this moment.
So it was Thursday.
Okay, great, thank you so much. So what I'm hoping is that we can resolve this case, being as I subbed in relatively recently, although it was in April, Your Honor. I'm asking for a further continuance. If Your Honor feels inclined to set trial, we're happy to do that today also.
Are the people requesting a trial date at this point?
Not if one more continuance, might convert that. It's not a terribly old case.
Thank you. Given the clarification of the offer, this time continues to be waived?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then Ms. Weiss, how much time do you need to talk with your client in a more private setting?
If we could have 30 days, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Wright, we're gonna put your matter over. Your attorney wants to talk to you about the offer and talk with you privately.
Okay.
So we'll put your matter over, Ms. Weiss, I'm looking at Thursday, June 17th.
That looks great. Thank you so much.
Mail will have your case on Thursday, June 17th, 8:30 in Department 6. It'll be on for disposition or setting up a trial date.
And Ms. Wright, I'll text you. We'll talk more about that, and we'll discuss the offer on the table, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Frisbee.
Thank you, Your Honor. I am here appearing specially for Charlie Dresso. It's line 11, Sandeep Sharma.
Calling Sandeep Sharma.
Appearing especially on 977. Mr. Dresso, I believe, is still in trial and is just looking to set trial dates at this time. And he has been in contact with Mr. Winger.
is this gonna be continue on a time waiver status?
Yes, Your Honor, and he gave me 2 different weeks which would work for his schedule. I'm hoping to work in the accommodate. And those are the weeks of July 19th, and that would be his preferred week, or the week of July 26th.
So, Mr. Thursby, as you know, we kind of do the trial call on Thursday before. So if I set it on July 15th, understanding it kind of gets slow starts here anyway, that seems, given that you're saying July 19th, that seems like the best option.
That does.
Okay, so even though we don't hear the 15th, I'm sure you can explain the process to him. So, Mr. McCauley, are the people's witnesses available July 15th and basically the week after?
Yes, that should be fine.
All right, so this matter with that time waiver will be set for jury trial July 15th, 10:30, this department with the readiness conference, July 13th, 10:30, this department. Anything further needed for this case?
No, Your Honor, but may I inquire, would he be, if he was out of county, be allowed to appear via Zoom on the readiness day?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And nothing further.
Ms. Walsh, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm here on Lazaro Santos.
Calling Lazaro Santos.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, there's.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jessica Walsh. I'm appearing 977 this morning on behalf of Mr. Santos. I did just ask the district attorney for a contact with who I can reach out to. I did receive an offer, but I would like to discuss it further. I'm hoping that we will be able to resolve on the next week though. So if we could set this for a settlement conference date in June or July.
Time will continue to be waived?
Yes.
Any objection by the people?
No, Your Honor.
So Ms. Walsh, I'm kind of wide open. So
Okay, I have a couple of dates with
great.
June 9th or 14th be available.
Both of those will work for the court. How about we try to Monday, June 14th? Monday, June 14th, 8:30, this department for disposition.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other matters for you this morning?
Nothing here, thank you.
Other members that are ready?
Yes, Your Honor. If the court would call the Rifkind matter, line 6 on my calendar. I know that Mr. Rifkin pronounced it Rifkin, but this is Mr. Rifkind.
Mr. Rifkind, good morning. Mr. Rifkind, this matter comes on for disposition. Mr. Rifkind.
Thank you, Your Honor. And he has an office appointment set up. Our office was unable to accommodate a meeting prior to today's court date. We're just asking for additional time so that we can get on the same page.
Time continues to be waived.
It does. And if the court, this is not a terribly complicated situation. If the court wants to go to a shorter period, I'm comfortable with that. I believe his interview is set for the end of this month. I'm hopeful that the court would consider a date toward the end of June as opposed to all the way to the middle of July.
Okay. Any objection by the people?
No.
All right, then, sir, I'm going to put your matter on Thursday, June 24th, 8:30, this department for disposition. Hopefully you will connect it with your attorney and we'll make some progress on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is the court going to receive the tall Mr. Zero, oh, perfect.
Calling Enrique. Zaragoza Velasquez. Good morning. Good morning, sir. It looks to the court like we have a resolution for an entry to count 3. And the expectation would be 12 months conditional sentence, 40 hours of volunteer work, no jail, just the volunteer hours. The good conduct of bail laws and the fines. Is that your expectation as well? Do you have any questions before we go forward?
No, I don't.
So, sir, I do have here a tall form. This form describes the rights you have, the rights you'll be waiving, and the potential consequences of this plea. Did you read, review, and go through this form with the assistance of your attorney?
Yes.
Any questions about what's contained in the forms?
No.
So, sir, it does advise you here that the maximum punishment for this crime you're about to enter a plea to is up to 6 months in the jail. Again, you have an agreement with the DA's office, and I'll be following that, but did you understand that the maximum punishment for this crime is up to 6 months?
Yes.
Sir, having all of these rights in mind, do you waive your rights to have a jury trial in this case?
Yes.
Counsel, do you join in that waiver?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then, sir, as alleged in count 3, that you violated Vehicle Code Section 10501, paren A, a misdemeanor, false report of vehicle theft. What is your plea?
No contest.
The court will accept the no contest plea and finds you guilty. The court further finds that plea and waiver is knowing, voluntary, and intelligent. Do the people move to dismiss the remaining counts?
So moved.
That will be granted. Brief time for sentencing?
So waive, Your Honor, no legal cause.
Sir, you're not in position of sentence is suspended. I'll place you on a conditional sentence agreement for a period of 12 months. You have good conduct of bail laws. Complete 40 hours of volunteer work through the Sonoma County Volunteer Center. Sign up and enroll with the Volunteer Center by June 30th. And Mr. Anthony, what's a realistic time frame for him to complete the hours?
I would say 8 months. That would still leave us 4 to come back if there was an issue. I don't think we'll need that long, to be perfectly honest with you. I have some information I want to share about Mr. Zaragoza Velasquez after we finish the sentencing, since we have an empty courtroom, but 8 months seems like a safe bet.
So then I'm looking, it'll be January. You can always complete early. You just don't want to complete late, okay? So
Yeah.
we'll put it on January, complete it by January 7th of 2022. If you run
Was it the
it
7th or the 2nd? I'm sorry.
7,
7th.
it's a Friday, so complete it by then. If you run into any issues getting that done, contact your attorney so we can give you more time.
And I'll take that as soon as possible with that. Just really grateful, really grateful to be here and just get everything processed and taken care of. I give.
Okay. All right, so let me just finish up, and then the attorney did mention that there's something to advise the court of, so I'll look in you just a moment. Fines and fees of $70 are ordered. $30 criminal conviction fee, plus the $40 court security fee are ordered, plus a $150 restitution fund fine. Would you plan a chance?
No, Your Honor, we can pay within 90 days.
The total is $220 payable by August 11th. Any other terms and conditions requested by the people?
No, Your Honor.
Anything further for this client as far as the sentencing?
Nothing further regarding sentencing.
So with the sentencing now complete, Mr. Anthony?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Zaragoza Velasquez was going through an extremely tumultuous time in his life when this occurred. He had some demons that he was battling and enrolled in a program and has changed his life completely. He was a completely different person when this occurred. Some of the information that I received was extraordinarily impressive. And anytime I've ever spoken with Mr. Zaragoza Velasquez, it has been nothing but respectful, polite, understanding, communicative, and he had nothing more than a strong desire to try to put this part of his life behind him. He made the drive up here with, I believe, a family member from San Luis Obispo, because that's the area that he lives in, to make sure that this could be taken care of. When he couldn't make it to court, he called me in advance to let me know. It's just been a really amazing experience working with Mr. Zaragoza Velasquez, and I wanted to make sure that the court was aware of all the effort that he had made in his life to change since this incident.
Mr. Zaragoza Velasquez, I appreciate hearing a little bit more about your unique situation. You took care of business today. You'll have no further court dates. You just get those hours done, you'll be putting this squarely back in your rearview mirror.
All right, thank you so much.
Good luck going forward. We'll get you some paperwork and then you go.
All right, thank you.
One other piece of information, because it was probably the most impressive thing. The court can see that there was a $20,200 initially charged. Mr. Zaragoza Velasquez went back to the house that had fence damage, paid for the supplies, and then helped rebuild it after apologizing to the homeowner. So he sat out there in the sun with this gentleman and did everything he could to try to rectify it wrong. And I was really taken aback by that kind of effort. It wasn't just an exchanging of money or anything like that. It was truly a show of humanity in some way, and a show of, an effort to apologize. And it was really impressive.
And I'm sure that's probably one of many of the reasons why it was dismissed outright. That is impressive. I'm sure the homeowner really appreciated it as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks, you. So this, anyone of 977s or anything? Oh, sorry. And you can call it for the break.
Yes, Your Honor. If the court would call the Shenanta Smith matter.
Calling Shenanta Smith.
I'm appearing 977 for Ms. Smith. Mr. McCauley and I have worked out a disposition in this case. It's going to take us a little time to complete the requirements. It's 48 AA meetings and continued proof of individual counseling. She is set up with her psychiatrist and her therapist. We just need enough time to complete the meetings, really. I'm expecting the letter from her medical providers to be coming in any day, more or less.
And
So
you're doing this towards a dismissal?
that's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. So how much time?
I would say 90 days. I think that's a reasonable period for the amount of meetings and what we need to establish.
Any objection?
That's fine.
All right, so with the continued time waiver, I'll put this over to Thursday, August 12th, 8:30. This department will mark it for possible dismissal. She continues on through trial.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Any other matters before the recess?
Nothing further.
Just for the court's information, I don't know if Singh is on the calendar. It's number 14 on mine. It's a no file.
Oh, okay. All right. Calling the same matter.
I have that one on for a record sealing, Your Honor.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Oh, maybe I'm looking at
You know, like
maybe
this, Raph placed it on calendar because it previously was a no file and it's requesting to seal. So why don't I let you take a look in case you don't have it? And if we can give the petition, it's an 851.91 petition, so pretty standard. Do you need to see the petition? Why don't I, we'll pass that till after break and see if the people are prepared to take a position on it.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, we'll be in recess until 10:20.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It looks like I'm gonna need Mr. Wilbur. she's still on PT. Okay, so calling Anthony Saldivar.
Ryan Wilbur appearing generally in all matters except for the new one.
Okay, so 843 was calendared by the DA's office for first appearance. So you're still not appearing in that matter?
I am not, Your Honor, and my office has been in contact with Mr. Saldivar.
So he's not present because he failed the health screening.
Okay.
So that's, he's not present, he didn't pass the health screening. He's been given an order to appear June 10th. So we'll have you present in 159 and 547. And all matters will have to go over because he was handed an order to June 10th, 8:30, this department, case 159 on for violation of conditional sentence. 547 on for disposition. 843 will be on for appearance of defendant and arraignment. Will sort out his status when we can medically get him cleared in the building.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. McCullough, have you had a chance to look at the same matter?
I did, Your Honor. There's no opposition with me.
Okay. So in the same matter, Madam Clerk, the court has received and reviewed the petition. No objection by the people, so the court will sign the order to seal the arrest records pursuant to Penal Code Section 851.91 is granted. We'll file that order today.
Thank you.
Calling Elizabeth Smith. Ms. Smith is on for review. She's public defender.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before we just give me one moment.
Yes.
I don't know if the court would be willing to, but my request would be to do a short bench warrant stay to next Tuesday. My understanding is there's now a turn-in date for May 20th for 10 days of county jail. I want to get her physically present to have an opportunity to kind of straighten some of this out. I know that she had a surgery scheduled, which is the reason that her last court date was, or her last turn-in date was vacated. I had proof of that, and I did speak with her on the phone previously. I believe that surgery was scheduled for April 22nd, so we're not terribly far removed from that surgery date. It's just kind of a complicated situation because there's lots of moving parts, and I'm hopeful that we can get her in here and be on the same page altogether.
So actually, her April 16th turn-in date was vacated. Her current turn-in is June 25th, which gives us a little more space.
Right. If the court goes into the file, there were two separate turn-in dates that have now come up because it was a split. It was more of a split sentence where she was automatically required to do, I believe, 10 days of work release up front, and then the back end of the jail sentence was suspended upon completion of residential treatment. The 10 days that were originally owed have now generated a new turn-in date, if I'm not mistaken. If the court would just give me 1 second to double check that.
It could be that work release is moving the turn-in dates around a little bit.
Which is what I believe is going on. Yeah, I'm seeing a turn-in date on May 20th for 10 days of county jail, so that's the initial portion of the sentence, if I'm not mistaken. And with the surgery, that changed things. I don't know if we all caught that, or we all being me. I don't think I caught that needed to be adjusted as well.
I guess the whole thing is really contingent on her bringing in that proof of treatment too. So you said next Tuesday?
Yeah, that's I'm going to be out the following week, or the remainder of that week, so it's really the best we can do.
Right, so she's not present at 10/29. A $10,000 warrant will be stayed to May 18th, 8:30, this department for appearance of defendant and verification, as well as turn-in date. Calling Michael Thomas. Mr. Thomas is cited to appear. Mr. Thomas is not present at 10:30. Signed citation is in court's file. $0 sale of warrant will issue. Calling Wendy Williams. Ms. Williams is not present at 10:30. This is signed citation is in court's file. This is her fifth failure to appear. The court will deviate from the emergency bail schedule. Bail will be set at $5,000. That completes this morning's calendar. We'll be in recess until